Hello, neighbor. Okay, this is the final part of the accidental wedding. Thank you for listening up until this point. That is so much appreciated. So, in this part C, let's do a brief recap of part A and B up until this point. Okay, what has been happening is that Maddy found an injured man. She helped him, started helping him recover. And then when he woke up, he lost his memories. Yes? So this went on just for a brief period of time. This is about 4 days that this is happening, about 4 or 5 days or so. And then one man like that, Mr. Harris, that is the kind of caretaker of her cottage that she's staying in, that has been demanding increased rent for whatever reason. So he comes to the house and he's like, yes, that the new landlord, so and so, that who's the Honorable Ambassador Nash said that you have to do like this and do like that. So the moment this injured man who has lost his memories heard that name, Nash, he remembered all his memories because he's actually the Nash, but he had not sent Harris, which means Harris is a cheat and something is not adding up, okay? So at this point, Nash is supposed to leave because he exposed himself because Harris came the next day again and was trying to take advantage of Maddy, thinking she's alone in the house. So Nash comes out to her defense and says, get out of my house, you're fired. I'm the landlord that you're claiming that sent you and I didn't send you. And Maddy's confused. Like, aren't you supposed to have lost your memories? Okay. And she's like, why didn't you tell me? And, she's mad about it. And she's like, of all people you'd expose yourself to. So this Harris that does not mean good for me. As he has seen in my house like this now, he spread rumors that both of us have been up to no good. And that's not true. Because they're living in a century that really values moderation and decency. This is the 19th century England. So as she sent him away, that was after a night of passion, So he was leaving and he was just thinking and saying, oh, no. That he can't just turn his back on this girl who's helped him and was kind to him and is looking after 5 children. So he turns back around and comes to the house and he sees her packing. And this is like just 2 hours after he left the friggin' house. So he's like, were you planning on going away without telling me? And here was me thinking I was abandoning you. Meanwhile, you're the one trying to abandon me. And he finds out that she wants to take a marriage offer from one man older than her dad, so her late father. So he's like, no, that she won't do that. That in fact, he will marry her. That fine, he's going to marry her. And she's just looking at him like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Why would you just fling marriage proposal at me in that tone? As if I'm begging you for it. Do you understand? So this is the point where we're at. Okay? So even she is saying that he's shocked, that Nash is shocked that he made a marriage proposal towards her. And she's like, I should accept this marriage proposal to punish him. But then she knows that if she accepts his marriage proposal, he'll probably grow resentful of her. You get? And be like, in just my moments of weakness, I offered this lady for marriage proposal and she could not even turn me down. And in my honor as a gentleman, I could not take the proposal back. So she just thought all these things and just looked at him. She was just looking at him. And she's saying that he's presenting this diplomat face to her as per this no emotion poker face. You get? Then she just said no, that she's not going to marry him. So Uncle Let's angry that she refused proposal, that he did not even mean to give the proposal, but he's not angry that, okay, I gave the proposal and she did not take it. I mean, what do men want? Seriously, what do men want? If she took proposal, it would have been like she shackled him. She rejected proposal. It's not like, how can she reject me? Pride. But then as he's going again on the horse, because this is a horse that he has stressed, that he was almost at the White-Thorn Manor, and he turned around and raced the horse back to that cottage. So now that he's turning back to go to the White-Thorn Manor for the second time that day, he was now thinking of their interaction, how he actually raised his voice at her from the door, how he even flung the proposal at her, and he was ashamed. He was like, did I really do that? Where did all my diplomacy skills go to? What is it about this lady that makes me lose my head? That no, I did not try. That see, this woman has tried for me. She was warm, she was generous. She didn't even try to trap me into marriage. And she cared for me when I was not feeling well. Do you understand? He was like, see, my diplomacy skills must not have come out when I was dealing with her because I'm used to dealing with men in my position as diplomat. You get? And men are logical. But women, they're a whole different ballgame. They're emotional. So maybe that's why I made a mockle of these things. That's why I did not reason with her well. Okay? And then he now noticed an emotion warring inside of him. He's like, the moment I heard that she was going to marry someone else. It was actually jealousy I felt, I was feeling. It was like, but why am I feeling jealous? And if jealousy is now made me act that way towards her, and look at me, I'm being like my parents all over again. I'm letting my passions rule me instead of being charming Nash. Okay. Meanwhile, Maddy is at home and thinking, oh mo, waiting, do me reject that man proposal. I for just agree. You get, I for just agree like that. At least I would be his wife. If he does not love me, it's his problem. You understand? So she just said, oh, let me just pack. What's past is past. But as she's just still packing, Oga came back again and now said, okay, see, forgive me. Marriage proposal I offered you is the first I've tried in my life. Just forget that I did it. I did not do it well. Let me do it properly. That's when he now properly proposed. Like knelt on a knee and everything. So Maddy was just looking at him, just giving one kind eye. And then she was like, yourself, why do you want to marry me? He was like, He now started by giving disappointing answers. Well, I've ruined you and I am rich enough to keep the family together. I mean, you and your 5-step siblings. I'm the solution to your problem. And let us quash the gossip that this Harris person has raised about you. And then, you're not too bad for a diplomat's wife. You're cool-headed. You're practical. You're not so bad. We'll do well together. And so I was just like, what kind of non-romantic thing is this thing? You get? But he just made it clear, see, I'm not looking for love match. I've told you about my parents more. And I cannot afford to have that kind of disastrous marriage. So Maddy just looking at him and thinking, that this guy that is offering me this passionless marriage, is it the same person that last night he was all passionate in bed and things like this? How can that man be the same person that is offering marriage? But she agreed though, because in her mind, she's like, whether he wants it or not, our marriage cannot be passionless. So she just said, thank you, Mr. Renfrew. I'll be honored to accept your proposal of marriage. So as she said this thing, he kissed the back of her hand. He didn't even try to kiss her mouth as well. Oh, your fiancé accepted. Let me kiss her and celebrate. He did not do it, even though she leaned forward for a kiss. Uncle just collected pen and paper, turned around and said, hey, let's start preparing. What do we have to do? Is there anybody to notify on your end, Maddy, that you're getting married? She did not have anybody. Only the villagers that she's friends with, that it's fine. So who's going to officiate the marriage? The vicar, Reverend Mattison, that has been so good to them and the children. Okay. So Maddy was like, what about that your auntie that is finding wife for you? Are you sure she's not going to be angry that you are marrying me? She's like, Aunt Maud? And she'll get over it. She won't be upset. So Maddy was like, man, are you sure? Uncle said, why are you worrying about it? Just let it be. So this, as he's still kind of, making arrangements, making notes of what can be done for a shotgun wedding, like a wedding they can do in a week tops. Lizzie arrived, that Maddy's friend. So as she arrived, Nash was like, okay, I'm on my way out. So Nash went to see the vicar. And the vicar was angry when he saw Nash. Like, what have you come here for? But Nash said, I came here for wedding arrangement. The vicar had wedding arrangements. He was like, welcome. So the bride is Miss Woodford, Maddy Woodford, I said, yes. So the vicar said, you're actually lucky because the bishop is coming this afternoon, so you can issue your license. You don't have to go far to get it. And then, as the bishop is around, his presence can make the marriage look more like it was not in a hurry. And so who are your guests again that are coming? That's what he asked Nash. Nash was like, okay, that my brother and the L is coming. My sister-in-law, daughter of an L, with my other brother is coming. Like, mentioned big aristocrats that are coming for the wedding. Like, okay, yes, the bishop would like to be around. He would like to be around. That's what the vicar said. So as Nash finished from there, he stopped by the village inn and then he ate breakfast and then he casually mentioned to the, inn is where all the gossip used to start now. He now casually mentioned, that he's actually getting married to Miss Woodford the next week. Like that, rumors spread. From the previous night, it was that, that Woodford and Miss Woodford and the man we are caught in her cottage, that's Nash, to, Miss Woodford is getting married next week. Just like that, story have changed. So finally, after this is the third attempt now, he now came to the Whitehorn Manor. That is Uncle Jasper's estate, the one that just died, which is now his own inheritance. That is Nash's inheritance. And then he found out that the property is in poor condition. The poor condition of the mansion is just based on some things need to be refurbished, not that it's breaking down badly. You get, but just that many of the workers, they've not been paid wages. As long as in 6 months, Mr. Harris has not been paying wages. So Nash was upset to hear this. So he paid for the ones that he had. So he had some cash on him. He paid, and also that the other things that they should balance, they should create lists so that when he comes back, he'll see and balance the rest. And because of his upcoming wedding, and they need to get and guests that come in, they need to get the mansion in tip-top shape, that he now provided extra funds so that he can employ temporary staff to help out, so that it's not just the only 4. Imagine a big household like that, they don't have more than 6 staff. What happened? So Harris had just been doing Uncle Jasper dirty. He's been stealing money. So from there, Nash now went. Look at today. He's just on the move from here to here today. So from there, he now went to Harris's house with one of the stable hand, like one big, burly, muscled man like that. As he went there, it was like Harris just fled his house. And then the man that Nash went with knew that the back door was open. They entered through there and saw that Harris tried to burn the estate books so that he would hide his corruption. But fortunately, he was too drunk the previous night to be too coherent this morning to burn properly. So the book did not really burn, just the edges. Most of what they needed to get out from the book is intact. So they snuffed out the fire, carried that evidence. Nash now gave the final order that they should get some trustworthy men to be on the lookout. That if Harry should come back, they should catch him. Next thing, Nash now went to seek his carriage, because he needed a carriage of 6 for 6 people. That's Maddy and the children, so that they can travel to Salisbury. As Salisbury is one of his brothers lived there, and he wanted Maddy and the children to stay there so that they'll be safe from the Bloody Abbott. Those ghosts that come into a house. Nash now, he could not really find a carriage. He was just still thinking what he would do. So on his way, he now kind of passed Maddy's house and now saw that a very fine carriage was outside with 4 horses that's looking so fine. He was like, who came to bother her again? He now came through the back door. He didn't go through the front, so they will not see him. And he now found that his brother was there, Marcus. He had sent, Maddy had sent his brother a letter. And inside the letter, Nash had written something at the corner. So Marcus and Maddy, they were having an interesting exchange. Marcus was like, he was pretending to be Nash's lawyer and said that my client was here and he said there was funny business and I should give you what you want and that you slashed his boots. Maddy was like, I did not do any such thing. So Lizzie was there too and was trying to defend Maddy, like, no, Miss Maddy is not like that. So Maddy was like, Lizzie, stay out of it. That this man is talking to me disrespectfully. Her blood was hot. You get, Marcus's one was hot too. They're just looking at each other, this face up. And Nash was enjoying himself. But when he saw that Marcus actually raised the new boots he came with, like for Nash was like, oh, that. He now showed himself and was like, Maddy helped me, that this whole show has been amazing, but hey, thank you for bringing the boots. Marcus is normally cool. He's not even somebody that would normally start arguing with somebody. But then Maddy had really ticked him off. And although Marcus is this kind of person, all these big men that are trained in the craft of intimidation, they'll just give you one eye, you bend down. Maddy was just looking at him straight up last part. You're looking at me, I'm looking at you back. Like, what is it? She was not intimidated by him. So this, like, Marcus feel really annoyed. And then when she found out that, Marcus is actually Nash's brother, she's like, why did you not tell me? Yeah, Nash's brother. Why didn't you tell me you're the L? Why are you pretending? Why were you pretending to be his lawyer? It was like that. Nash told him he's traveling incognito. So obviously, if your brother tells you I'm traveling incognito, you yourself should get the memo that you should come with your hidden identity. So Nash was like, what are you talking about? So that's when Nash had to reread the message he sent to his brother. Look at that message he sent to his brother. Look at what he wrote here. Marcus was injured, but I'm recovered. Give Miss Woodford whatever she wants. I'm at her cottage incognito. He underlined incognito twice. Funny business going on. Boots slashed. Send new ones urgently. Nash. That's what he'd written. So when he read it again, I was like, oh, I see the thing here. Oh, no, she's not holding me hostage. It's not, the funny business is not about her, just like some dudes that like pretending to be ghosts and disturbing her and destroying things outside. So he just kind of cleared the air. This is the point now that Maddy found out that Nash had actually written something in the letter she sent to Marcus, the Earl of Averley. She was like, why are you always going through my letter? This is like the 3rd time. Okay? Why are you always reading things I don't want you to? So, because of that thing, Nash and Maddy now started arguing. So their exchange was like, oh, I see what's going on here. Like, this is Marcus talking. You are Nash's mistress. Both of them at the same time, Nash and Maddy were like, no. Nash was like, she's my fiance, like my bride-to-be. Marcus was like, how is this girl your fiance? What is it you saw in her? Are you okay? So Nash first of all changed to the new boots, collected the new boots first of all. Because he was wearing good boots in one leg. In the other boots that Maddy had slashed now because of his wounded ankle, Maddy had to use tie ribbons around it so that the boots would hold. He just Kokoma removed the boot like that and said, let me wear my boot and fresh my fresh, because Nash is known as a fresh guy. So for him to be wearing that boot is very unfresh of him, but Maddy influenced Uncle wore it like that. This is somebody that could not have worn that kind of thing before. So his brother just sat with him as he was changing to his new boots and was like, Dad, what are you saying you want to marry this girl? Dad, just buy her off now. Nash was like, see, don't try it. Don't say that thing. I said I want to marry her. It's me that wants to marry her. Don't tell me what I should do or not do. Marcus was like, are you in love with the girl? And I said, yeah, no, now you know. Didn't you grow up in the same house? How can I be in love? And I said, then why you? I just said that it's just how it is. Just let it be. Then next thing, Nash was like, that carriage in front of the house, it's fine, no. It does not have your logo. Marcus was like, I was traveling incognito. And I said, Dad, it looks new. So Marcus was trying to boast about the carriage. And I said, he just realized that. He was like, no, Nash, you're not borrowing my carriage. Nash was like, but I'm not going to take it for so long. I just want to borrow it overnight, just so that I can take Maddy and the children to, Harry and Nell's place. Harry is their brother. He's married to Nell, or rather half brother, something like that. So like, Marcus, just stay here in the cottage. Marcus was like, what? Like, the way this guy just literally bullied his brother to stay in that cottage so that he can catch the Bloody Abbott. Like, whoever it is that is coming at night and destroying things and scaring them. So this place was super funny. Like, you have to read it yourself. If you want me to read it, I can basically maybe read that part of the story. But right now I'm just going to summarize it so that we can keep on moving, okay? Thank you. So when Marcus had children, I said, what children are you talking about? Are you marrying somebody that already has children? By which man? I said, no, they're not her children. They have half siblings. And I said, they better not throw up on my new chase. That if they throw up on it, you're buying a new one. Now, coming to the point of Maddy, go to this Salisbury now. Maddy was arguing that she's not leaving. That why would she leave her cottage? That all the while, Marcus just found it entertaining. Like, oh, it's no longer me she's arguing with, it's you, Nash. Okay. Just sat down and said, you people, I'm watching you. Lizzie served the Marcus tea. Now, this half-brother that they're going to say, Harry Morand, he's married to Nell, like Lady Helen. Nell is for short. So Marcus asked Nash if he's sure he's not in love with Maddy. He asked it to him again when they were about to go. Nash was like, stop asking that question, I'm not. So on the carriage ride, that's when Nash now shared, because Maddy eventually agreed. So Nash now told her Harry's story. Harry is actually Nash's half-brother. Like, they have the same father, different mothers. Because what happened is that Nash's father, the Earl at the time, he slept with Harry's mother, who was a maidservant. One of those cases when he and his wife had problem and his wife left briefly. So that's when he took a mistress, which is the maidservant. So when he found out, he has impregnated his maidservant, he now married her off to a blacksmith, Mr. Morant. And this Mr. Morant, after the woman died, that's Harry's mother, was treating Harry badly. But then one of their great aunts, Auntie Jet, she took him, she carried Harry and Gabe to a house like that and now started raising them. So the thing now made Maddy ask, who is Gabe again? And I say, Gabe, he's actually fully legitimate, same mother, same father. And I say, so why did he not grow up with you and Marcus? And I said, it was one of my parents' passionate quarrels, that my mother, to vex my father, to make him jealous, was like, I'm pregnant and the person that got me pregnant is not you, he's my lover. So his papa vexed, threw the woman out of the house. It was at that time he now impregnated Harry's mother, that's the maid. They reconciled though eventually. Now this is his parents' passionate love quarrel, and they reconciled. But Gabe never came home because the father just kind of felt, even if he's my son, I cannot be sure again. Apparently, your own son, because of the issue you had with your own wife, cannot come to your house because he makes you uncomfortable. You just be thinking of that fight you had with the woman. So just because of that passion, Gabe was just in London, lonely, raised by mates, until that great aunt Jet had just came and carried him. In the mind of all the brothers, both Harry or Marcus or Nash, the woman is like one big hero because she's the only one that they used to see that can order their father around. And she even intimidated Aunt Maud too. Aunt Maud that was looking for wife for Nash now. Maddy liked the lady. Aunt Jet is now dead. But they still respect her memory so well. She was a children rescuer. All the boys met in school when they were 15. Like both the legitimate ones that grew up with the parents and the two ones that grew up with Aunt Gertrude. Everybody met in school when they were 15. But then they were calling Gabe bastard. And then they were calling Harry the other bastard. And they bullied them. That is Marcus and Nash. That's what they did now. The ones that came from they even got the boys expelled. They got Gabe and Harry expelled. And this is what was because of what the idea their father had put into their head, and they wanted to live up to their father's expectations, being little boys. But now that they've grown up and they understood that Papa is not always having sense, and he is fallible, and he's not a god like you make him out to be in your childhood mind. Eventually, they arrived at Fleming Court. Fleming Court is the name of the house. All these English houses, they used to have names. The one at the village now is Whitethorn Manor. This one now is Fleming Court. Alverley Estate belongs to the L. That's Marcus. So all these things, just know his house, that we're talking about. So don't be confused about it. So Fleming Court is where Harry and his wife Nell are living at. Nell was like, oh my God, we didn't expect all of you. Like, this is about 6-7 guests because Lizzie also came with them. But Nash had told Maddy that they're expecting them. They're not expecting everything. Nash literally crashed his brother's house with 7 guests. Very inconsiderate. Maddy just looked at him like, man, Seth. Jane and Susan. Jane is actually the 12-year-old one. The children now. And Susan is the 8-year-old one, the same age as Henry. So Jane and Susan, they courtesy beautifully because Maddy had been teaching them. Maddy was so proud. So Lady Helen and Maddy easily bonded, actually. And that thing, Maddy is observant. So there is a way she easily could tell that Lady Helen was pregnant. Even though Lady Helen, it was still in the early stages, or just between her and her husband, she could tell. And then she gifted Maddy an expensive shawl because at this time, Maddy doesn't have her new clothes yet. Because, what's his name? Nash had already started making arrangements of clothes that he would get her a whole new wardrobe for her and the children. So, but at this point, she's still wearing all those her old torn clothes. So just to elevate how she looks, Helen just considerately gave her this expensive shawl. So Nash was just supposed to drop off Maddy and the children. No. She didn't agree. She wanted him to stay. As per, you're the only person I know in this strange place. How can you just drop me here and go? He was like, let me just go back and catch to the cottage where Marcus is, and then we'll just catch that Bloody Abbott. So for this reason, he was wearing riding clothes at dinner because he just wanted to eat and go. But, at dinner, there were other of their friends there. Another friend called Luke was there. So the Luke friend was like, why are you going back? And I said, this is why I want to go back. Or Luke was like, no, that you can stay here. That me. It's not like I'm that busy that I'll go. Let me go to the cottage and stay with Marcus. We'll just have an adventure. It should be fun. This is how Nash ended up staying back, and Maddy was glad. So that night, Nash was trying for self-control as per I'm not going to be like my parents. I'm not going to be passionate about a woman. After all, it's just a woman. It's just sex. I'm not going to do anything. But then desire wore out, and initially Maddy had said, you can come and stay with me in my room if you want. So Uncle took the offer up. He took the offer up. So I think throughout the time that he stayed in this house, I think a period of 3 days or so, he always slept in her room. But then he would kind of like leave before morning. And that thing is, during their time at this house, Maddy now found books about Russia, and she was trying to read. So when Nash caught her reading one of the books one time, and then she was like, she's just trying to learn a little about Russia since they'll be going there. There was one kind of response Nash gave her, because in his head, he's like, he cannot come and take Maddy and these children abroad, that they seem more suited to country life. Because you need to see John and Henry. They were mocking stables happily, just so that they'll give them horse riding lessons. Jane too wanted to be a horse rider because Lady Helen rides horses. So she too had found an old riding cloth of Lady Helen that had some tear. She carried sword. So everybody is just kind of happy in that country life. So now she's thinking, they are more suited here. Let me not carry them abroad. And Maddy was just saying things like, I feel so free here. And everybody I just like how I feel in this place. So he was now saying in his mind, he wanted to say, but you're not free, you're mine. Not that kind of loving thing now. He wanted to claim her in passionate jealousy and things like that. But he was like, no, I can't say this thing. If I say this thing, I'll be like my parents. I should not love a woman passionately. I should not seek to control. So all those kind of thoughts. So as he was thinking this thing, a childhood memory struck him of a certain field of roses that they used to have on his father's estate, the estate where he grew up in. So, because his parents are people that they can be passionate one moment, running through the gardens, kissing, the father picking up roses for the mom, and next thing you're hearing them inside screaming at each other, and then little Nash trying to just calm everything down. He went to pick up some roses and came and gave it to his mom. His mom laughed and she still left, and then his father beat him up for interrupting and stealing roses. So what kind of, like, that kind of very toxic arrangement, it's just so ill. So that's why Nash wants a civilized marriage. He doesn't want any passionate thing, so that his children would not be subject to the things he went through himself. So by the third afternoon, that after Luke left now, the third afternoon while they are there at Fleming Court, Marcus and Luke now returned from the cottage. So they had caught the Bloody Abbott the previous night. Not like caught him, Luke tackled him, gave him black eye, but then lost him in the fog because there was a thick fog. And the reason why he lost him is that apparently the Bloody Abbott had an accomplice that hit Luke with wood. He even had a bump on his head. So, but Marcus had shot at the person. He had shot at the Bloody Abbott on the shoulder. You get, but he could not shoot again now because of the fog, and Luke was in the fog. He didn't want to shoot Luke. But then, before the guys left, the one that Luke tackled, that he gave black eye, had said something like, "Pigeons flown the coop as far. The babe don't come out for this house." You know, Maddy and the children leaving was kind of secretive and swift. You get, so people did not really know they left village. That's why the Bloody Abbott came attacking. If not, but it's a good thing because they now use it as trap to now catch the Bloody Abbott. So Aunt Maud arrived that afternoon as Luke and Marcus just arrived. So as she arrived, it was not as if everybody was now outside. You get Nash, Maddy, Marcus, Luke, Henry. Everybody was just outside there. So she was just like, this one, everybody is gathered here. What's going on? And Henry was wondering, who invited Aunt Maud? Nash was like, I did. I was like, you're taking liberties, aren't you? And Nash was like, she's your aunt too. So it's not like do you get? Nash can be so charming and annoying at the same time. So Aunt Maud just finished inspecting all the boys, like, greeted everybody, just looked, using her long glasses. What's it called? A lorgnette, right? She just looked Maddy up and down as far in her faded dress and was like, probably a maid. Pass that over. Nash now brought Maddy forward and said, this is why I called you. I'm engaged to this lady, Maddy. The way Aunt Maud just disapprovingly looked at Maddy, looked her down, like from top to bottom, down her long nails, like, So, but Grandmere had trained Maddy on different courtesies. So Maddy still courtesied to Aunt Maud. That whole, you may not approve of me, but I'm going to be polite anyway kind of courtesy. Aunt Maud now called Nash upstairs quietly. I was like, you're out of your mind. Did something happen to your head? How can you want to marry that girl? That she's nobody. Do you know the people I've found for you to marry? I've invited Duke's daughters, Earl's daughters, Marquis's daughters, Ambassador's daughters to the ball that you're holding in London. And is this girl that her father was a lowly baronet? Apparently, when you talk about the lowliest station of aristocracy, after you see peasant, position that follows it is baronet, which is what Maddy's father was. So he did not have money. He was even one in debt. You understand? And even if they say she's related to French aristocracy, which proof is there? Many people are claiming French aristocracy these days because nobody can prove it since it has fallen. Do you understand? So Aunt Maud went foul. She just said many despicable things about Maddy. Are you sure that girl did not plan this accident to hook you in? So in Nash's head, he's like, if you know be my aunt, I forhit you for this rubbish way they talk. You understand? But he did not do any such thing, Sha. He just said, see, the ball is going to go on and it's just going to be a wedding ball, okay? Then Aunt Maud was like, what about her wardrobe? Is she going to wear those racks? And I said, that he has already planned her wardrobe. He arranged with Giselle. And Giselle is like the finest mantua maker in London. Like, imagine the person that all the ladies wants to make their clothes. Like the richest women. Their tailor is Giselle, their fashion designer. Aunt Maud was shocked. Like, how did you manage to lure that woman to do clothes for this your woman on the eve of the season? Because the season is like the hottest time of the year in London. Everybody's in London, going to balls, social parties, come out, debuts. Everybody's looking their best. So this is the busiest time. How did you get the tailor to agree at this time of the year? Trust Nash. She was like, I have my ways. So Nash's ways are, he used hefty cash, paid big money. And then he used his diplomat colleagues that, have the sweetest mouth, the charming things to talk to the woman. And even his Auntie Maud's name too. Auntie Maud that is asking him how he used her name too. But he cannot tell her. He just said, I use my ways. This guy. Later, Maddy and Nash were talking. Maddy was like, how did the tailor have my measurements? Because they sent her like 2 dresses or so for her to hold at the moment. And then he was like, oh, I sent one of your gowns to her. It was like, one of my gowns. I said, yes, like, on the floor when you were putting away things in the cottage, those pile of rags you're not using anymore. I was like, why would you send a rag gown to the dressmaker? I was like, but you're not using it anymore, right? She was like, but still, I mean, our dudes. Oh my God, do dudes miss all the signs or what? Like, how can you send rag? I said, but she's making a pretty dress for you. I said, but she'll know I wore a rag once. I said, oh, dudes are so oblivious. Oh gosh. So he was like, okay, that actually came here to ask you if you can dance. Then she was like, Maddy was like, I know some dances. I know the cotillion. I know some country dances, but I don't know the waltz. I've never seen it done before. He was shocked. Like, you've never seen it, people waltz? She was like, no, I've never attended a party. He was like, are you serious? You're 22 and you've never attended a party. Oh my God. He felt so bad. He felt so bad. Oh my God. But at the same time, he also felt like, okay, I should just give up being a diplomat right now. I mean, I married someone who doesn't even know parties. Okay, how do I expect her to move in my circle? I should just become a countryman. I should just face agriculture. You get, even though that's not really what he wants. But he's trying to now give up the dream of being a diplomat because he feels that since he married a woman that doesn't fit into those diplomat wives' characteristics, that maybe he should just be a countryman, like be farmer, manage estates, But he doesn't tell Asha. But he announces that they have to have a dance lesson so that she's not going to shame herself in social gatherings regardless. At least the ball they are going to have in London. So that's how, as he said they are going to have dance lessons, he said it aloud where the other girls were, like the small girls, Susan, Lucy, and Jane. So the girls all said, yay! So the nurse said, okay, let the nurse say that the dance lesson is for teaching the small girls. At least it will hide Maddy too, so that his aunt will not know that she did not know how to dance. So next thing, Giselle's assistant, that dressmaker now, that is very in demand, her assistant came. Body Giselle and the assistant, they're both French women. So obviously, it was Claudine that came, and she was just feeling kind of resentful towards Maddy, like, you just came. You made me come all the way from London for a lady that they just picked up from where I don't even know. But when Maddy spoke to her in French, the woman softened, like, oh, she knows French. Oh, she's my country person. That kind of small bond that just made everything better. So I think in between, after fitting that day, like fitting clothes and stuff, Maddy was walking like through the house. She was passing a drawing room or so. She now heard Aunt Maud and Marcus talking. So Aunt Maud was talking smack about her. Is it that girl? She's chaining Nash down. So Maddy now confronted her. I saved Nash. And that was inconvenient for me. That I did not plan it. Aunt Maud was just unmoved by the things that Maddy was saying. Maddy made many fine points in her defense of herself. She's like, I speak Italian. I ran my father's house for a year. I was raised by a genteel grandma, that her aristocrat grandma that Aunt Maud is thinking she's faking. That I'm very hardworking, I can learn. And Maud tells her, do you know that Nash is giving up diplomatic work for you? Maddy was like, I won't drag Nash down. I won't let him resign from his job, and I'll make him a good wife. Maddy looked at both Aunt Maud and Marcus and said, you have a choice to help me learn the things that I must to help Nash with his career. So what's it going to be? Aunt Maud just chose to examine her nails. Marcus was just removing one invisible fluff off his sleeve. They just both ignored her. So Maddy was like, fine, I'll figure it out by myself. So as she turned to go, Aunt Maud was like, do you love my nephew? Maddy was like, that is none of your business. So as soon as Maddy left, Aunt and Marcus, they said gossiping about her. They were like, Aunt Maud was like, that girl is better than I thought though. She wasn't cowering before me or pleading or trying to win my favor. She stood up to me. She has spirit and breeding, no. Marcus, you misled me to think otherwise now. That one, she's going to do sha. Look at her. She was even wearing rags and she even stood up to me without fear. It's obvious she loves Nash. So, just like that bravery. Although Maddy was beating herself up like, are you sure I should not have? Was I too much? Was I too harsh on Aunt Maud? Are you sure that Nash is not going to hear and he'll be angry that I spoke to his aunt that way? So that's what she was thinking. She does not know that what she did was impressive. Aunt Maud and Marcus still talking. Aunt Maud was like, But Marcus, do you know if Nash actually likes the girl? Do you think he loves her? Marcus was like, he's besotted with her. Like, from what he has seen, he knows that his brother is head over heels with the girl, even though the brother doesn't want to admit it. But he's like, but I think it's the accident that caused it, Sha. And someone was like, I don't think so. But even if it is, it's an accidental wedding, like a wedding caused by Nash's accidental wedding. So Aunt Maud was like, She now finally rose up and said, so what's left in these wedding preparations? Does the kids have clothes? Has this one been set? Has that one been set? She entered wedding preparations like that, oh. So just because she was happy with Maddy. So strange ways people can find favor. Maddy arrived for her dancing classes with Nash. Nash had been dancing with the girls, Suzanne and Jane, and even little Lucy. So as Maddy now came, the girls left, the older girls left, because even the pianist had to go and feed her baby, Tibby. So it was just Nash and Maddy. So Nash tried to teach Maddy the walls. Like, if I move like this, you move this way. Maddy was not hearing. She would just keep trying to drag him in the direction she wants. Well, he now had to calm her down and say, see, wildness is about trust, and if we have to move forward, we have to trust each other, just like marriage. She was like, you don't really expect our marriage to be like that, right? Trust and moving forward, because you think I'm going to drag you down. So he was like, what are you talking about? She was like, I heard that you're trying to give up your diplomatic work because of me. Nash, I dare you to have faith in me. Have faith in me to learn and not let you down. I will make you happy. I promise. So Nash in his head was like, I'm already happy. I'm even scared that I'm happy, like the way I'm happy. And I'm just so glad they're not calling off the wedding, because that's what I thought you came here to do. That's what he was saying in his head. So they kissed, made up, and then she let him teach her how to dance. Lizzie's husband, you know Lizzie now, Maddy's friend and her current maid servant together in one. You know she was married and her husband ran away with all her life savings. So that man, Ruben, he returned. Like, he came to the house where they're all in. This Nell's house. So apparently he was press ganged to become a member of the Royal Navy. Press ganged mean they can just come and recruit you without your permission. They put something in his drink and he, and carried him off. So he's been traveling the high seas since then, and he could not send a letter to Lizzie because he was not educated. Lizzie was not educated, but now Lizzie was educated now because Maddy had taught her, and the Ruben guy was educated because somebody on the ship with him had taught him. Okay, so now for the wedding, Maddy's wedding day has come. Everybody went back to Whitehall Manor. Maddy had the perfect wedding dress, like the Giselle and Claudine, they outdid themselves. Nash sent jewelry to hold her grandma's locket because that was the only piece of jewelry that Maddy had. She didn't even know that Nash knew she did not have jewelry. He actually asked Lizzie, and Lizzie was like, oh, she only has one locket. So Nash literally had this jewelry custom made for her, diamonds and pearls, to hold her grandma's locket. So the thing meant so much to Maddy that he was that considerate. So look, at the wedding, everybody there was either the nobles, all the nobles turned up. All of Nash's family and friends, and they're big. Everybody came, and all the women that Maddy had ever refurbished their hats, all the village women that Maddy had ever refurbished their hats, everybody came, and they were wearing their hats very proudly. So that at that point when the minister now says, so if anybody has a reason why these two may not be lawfully joined together, you best speak up now or hold your peace forever. So at that point, there was an interruption. Of all persons, guess who it was? Mr. The person, the over 60 years old person that Maddy was, going to marry if Nash hadn't come to the rescue. So he claimed that Maddy was promised to him by her father and that he has papers to prove it. Initially Maddy was shocked. But then when she got herself, she now snapped at him. She was like, I'm not a piece of property. Right now, I'm marrying Nash. Go away. So Aunt Maud yelled from where she was, good girl, Laspa, I did back you up, sister. So the bishop was like, let me see those papers. First of all, Miss Woodford is over the age of consent and she can't be bound by a document. And second of all, slavery is illegal in England and women cannot be sold for debts. So the whole people in church, they started clapping. This wedding, the villagers are not going to forget it anytime soon. Meanwhile, there was a scuffle because the Mr. came with his servants. His servants, I said, with an S. So there was one of the servants was at the back kind of hiding. So Luke found the guy, dragged him out. So the guy had black eye. And really, when they poked his shoulder, the guy winced in pain. That was Bloody Abbott. So the servant now revealed that it was actually Mr. Holmes that was making him do all those ghosted things because they were trying to scare Maddy to drive her back to him. So Marcus adds that Holmes also promised Harris £100. That Mr. Harris had been raising house rent like one idiot as though money used to grow on trees. That Mr. Holmes had promised him £100 if he evicted Maddy and returned her to Leicestershire. So Nash is held back by Maddy because Nash wanted to jump on the guy and give him proper beating. So hefty men had to carry both the Mr. Holmes and the servant of his servant out of there to the magistrate where they will be dealt with. After the wedding held, thankfully, it was not disrupted. And everything went well. So while they are now on the carriage, to where they'll spend their wedding night, that's Maddy and Nash. Maddy was now telling Nash how she ran away from Mr. because he actually became possessive and was acting like someone who wasn't that well in the head. There was even times he would stare at 12-year-old Jane as if she can be the replacement for Maddy as wife. Maddy, no grief for me, I'll carry this 12-year-old. What kind of rubbish is that? Good thing that Mr. Holmes is out of the picture. So for her wedding night, Maud upgraded the cottage. Like Maddy was now experiencing it, I mean, you're coming to that your one down cottage and it's beautiful and there are rugs and there is tapestry and the bed is feather, not the straw you used to sleep on, and then the covers are something else. Ooh, there is hamper of food. Oh my God. So this is them, after maybe the first rushed sex or something. Maddy now slipped out that she loved him, that she loved Nash, that she loved him, body, soul, those kind of things. And she's like, I know that you don't expect the same, but I'm just overflowing with love for you that I can't help but say it. So he acted a little awkwardly. And then Maddy was like, okay, I'm just going to get champagne because I'm hungry. I mean, I haven't eaten today because I was nervous, so I'm just ravished. So as she went to get food, just in the hamper, waiting the same cut, Nash was just looking at her. And his mind, he's like, why is she so courageous? And I'm the one just being all afraid. Why am I doing that? So that's when he now confessed to her that he loves her. He loves her too. Now, finally, this is the night we've all been waiting for, the ball. The ball that they've been talking about since the beginning of this book. The one that Nash asked Aunt Maud to arrange. So, the wedding ball. So, Maddy was so nervous. Aunt Maud encouraged her. So, she gathered her nerves. She went out. She was now welcoming guests beside her husband, Nash. So, there were some mean girls, some mean rich girls who were like, Maddy, you say you're from so-and-so place, but how come nobody there knows you? She now laughed. But they don't know better. Maddy had grown up in a country where aristocrats were openly despised, not this thinly veiled one that you people, English people, are still learning. She was like, yes, that nobody knows me there because I was away in France for a long time and I only returned briefly and before leaving again. So she had very sharp retorts for them that made it look like, oh, I've been all over. Have you even been to France before? The other girl was like, no. You don't understand that kind of thing. Just shame the girl. Thinly veiled truths that will still make you appear on top. That's what Maddy used on them. Everyone, even Marcus, were supporting Maddy in the small and bold ways. Aunt Maud was standing at some point. Marcus was there, saying, oh, my brother's wife did this. My brother's wife did that. Everybody was just in support. I mean, it is good to be married into a supportive family. It is good. Then finally, the Grand Duchess of Russia arrives. So I made a reference to this lady not actually having lived to old age in the part before this. So if you've not heard it, you should listen so that you hear what I have to say, the commentary. So the lady came with a large entourage, this Grand Duchess of Russia. She's a big deal, right? A big deal in international society. And then she had a large entourage, both men and women and everything. So Nash now introduced Maddy to her, and Maddy surprised everybody. She sank into the slow, deep curtsy that is only suitable for highest rank of royalty. A lot of young women can't even do the curtsy. And Maddy's grandma had made her practice it in their small cottage in France hundreds of times. And Maddy said, she was like, it's not like I'll use this and I'm doing it. Why even making me practice this all the time? She did not know it to come in handy, but look how it made the Grand Duchess so odd. And the Grand Duchess is someone who hardly speaks in English. She rather speak in French or her Russian language. She now asked Maddy, can you speak French? And Maddy just replied her in French. That's what they started talking in French. And then the Grand Duchess was like, oh my God, you don't just speak French. You speak French of the royal court of Versailles. Because remember, Maddy's grandmother raised her was, she was a court person now, one of the queen's leaders in the court of Versailles. I may not be pronouncing Versailles right, but I promise I'll check. When Maddy talked about her grandma, the Grand Duchess remembered her, like, oh my God, she was Marie Antoinette's keeper of bees, that I met her, she gave me sweet honey. And then next thing, the grandduchess just grabbed Maddy's hand, put it in the crook, and they're just all talking all night, inseparable. And Maud was proud. She was like, yes, I couldn't have planned this thing better. You understand that with the grandduchess's favor, Maddy is good to go, your career is good to go, you don't have problem. It was time for them to go to Russia, because after the ball now, it was time for them to go to Russia. So Nell, Lady Helen, she gave everybody gifts, she gave all the children something to go. They were all happy with their gifts. And Nash and Maddy, everybody got on the ship, living together as a family, all 5 children and the couple. And then they made Ruben, that's Lizzie's husband, they made him estate manager of that Whitehorn Manor, the new one. Harris is in prison now. And then Lizzie would stay at Whitehorn with her husband, and yeah, it's a happily ever after. So this is the end of The Accidental Wedding. So the next story we're doing is Reckless by Elsie Silver. I mean, you've seen this book. It's really popular on Bookstagram. So I read it a while ago, and finally we're going to tell it this week. Please, I hope it's this week. But look forward to it. Next episode, you see, it is it. Thank you for hanging out with me. I appreciate you so much, neighbor. Bye.